Welcome, humans, and any celestial body else out there listening. This is Curious Minds, Infinite Answers. I'm your host, Courtney Christine Costco. This podcast, simply put, is a mix of human curiosity and how, with the help of AI technology, curious minds can get the answers we seek. Let's get mind-bending and plunge deep beneath the surface of our everyday thoughts. Let's begin. Imagine humanity with one foot in the mud, the old instincts of fear, greed, control, and division, and the other foot on a rocket launch pad, ready to propel up toward compassion, collaboration, and progress. Right now, both feet are planted, but we're leaning in both directions at once. The current global population is around 8.2 billion, and with more people in the world now than ever before, that means there's more evildoers than ever before, right? But then, in parallel, shouldn't there also be more good? The story of humanity has never been a straightforward path toward the light, or a slow descent into darkness, though some people in the Dark Ages may disagree. It's been a long, jagged heartbeat, pulses of kindness, cruelty, brilliance, and destruction, all stitched together in the same fragile skin. But lately, the beat has quickened. Our good deeds and our malice are both running faster than ever, no longer content to creep through centuries. We've given them a rocket engine. A single thought can now travel across oceans in a fraction of a second. A single lie can wound millions before the truth can even stand up. And yet, a single act of compassion can reach more souls than a lifetime once allowed. We are amplifying everything. Our compassion, our greed, our hope, our hatred, and a lot of ego. Until good and evil are almost indistinguishable in the noise. Which one are you feeding right now? We often think of good and evil as opposites in a tug-of-war, one gaining ground when the other loses. But in this era, it feels different. Both are gaining ground, side by side, at a pace the world has never seen. In the past, destruction and cruelty took time to travel. Armies needed months to march. Rumors needed weeks to spread. Now, well, you know, a single malicious post can ignite conflict within minutes. Entire communities can fracture overnight. And yet, the same speed exists for good. Crowdfunding can rebuild homes in days. A global rescue effort can mobilize before a storm even makes landfall. A story of kindness can inspire thousands to act. Technology hasn't changed our nature per se. It's just stripped away the speed limits. It's given both our light and our shadow the same turbo-boosted 5G internet riding vehicle. The examples are everywhere. Climate action movements rising alongside unprecedented environmental exploitation. Global humanitarian aid flourishing while human trafficking networks grow more sophisticated. Groundbreaking medical innovations developing in the same labs as advanced weaponry. This is the paradox of our time. Progress and peril braided together so tightly that we often can't see where one ends and the other begins. It's tempting to believe this struggle is happening out there, in governments, corporations, or distant crises. After all, that's what every news headline and alert on our pocket devices screams at us all day. But really, it's also unfolding inside our daily choices. What we share online, how we treat a stranger, and for that matter, our own loved ones. In this interconnected world, even small actions carry farther than we may realize. A moment of cruelty can ripple outward, but so can a moment of courage, patience, and empathy. The amplification effect is not just a force in politics or technology. It's a mirror, showing us the scale of our own reach. We're all in this together, as much as we want to see ourselves as separate. After World War II ended in 1945, Germany was divided into 4 occupation zones, controlled by the US, the UK, France, and the Soviet Union. Berlin, though located entirely in Soviet-controlled East Germany, was also divided into 4 sectors. The western sectors became West Berlin, aligned with the US, UK, and France, and the eastern sectors became East Berlin, controlled by the Soviets. West Berlin was democratic and capitalist. East Berlin and East Germany were under a communist system backed by the Soviet Union. Over time, the economic and political differences grew stark. The big problem for East Germany from 1949 to 1961, about 3 million East Germans fled to the West, many through Berlin. This brain drain included skilled workers, professionals, and young talent, weakening East Germany's economy. The Soviet or East German solution? On August 13, 1961, the East German government with Soviet backing abruptly sealed the border and began constructing the Berlin Wall, a physical barrier to stop people from escaping to West Berlin. It wasn't just one wall, it was 2 parallel walls with a death strip in between, patrolled by armed guards, guard dogs, and watchtowers. Families were split, people lost jobs, homes, and relationships overnight. Over the years, at least 140 people died trying to cross it. The wall became a global symbol of the Cold War, the divide between communist East and capitalist West. And then, one day, the impossible happened. A single announcement, muddled, almost accidental, that the border was open. First, a few came to the checkpoints, then hundreds, then thousands. People climbed the wall. They didn't just cross it, they tore at it with their bare hands. In those first hours, East and West Berliners, strangers, raised to fear and distrust each other, embraced. They passed food, beer, cigarettes, laughter mixed with sobs. The cameras caught the celebrations, someone handing a winter coat over to a man shivering in the cold. But these images couldn't quite capture the most important thing: the sudden and overwhelming realization that the person on the other side of the wall had never been the enemy. They'd been a neighbor all along. In that night's chaos, there was no East or West, only one Berlin, finally breathing as one again. It's moments like this that remind us that when barriers fall, whether they're made of stone, steel, or stories we've been told, our instinct isn't to turn away, but to run toward one another. Now, not every act of good makes the history books. In 2007, during the chaos of a New York City afternoon, a man named Wesley Autry was standing on a subway platform with his 2 young daughters. Just a few feet away, a stranger, Cameron Holopeter, collapsed into a seizure. Disoriented, Cameron stumbled off the platform and fell onto the train tracks. The rumble of an approaching train was already in the air. People gasped, froze. Wesley didn't. He jumped down to the tracks, grabbed Cameron, and saw there wasn't enough time to pull him back up. The only chance was to lie flat in the shallow drainage trench between the rails. He pressed Cameron down and covered him with his own body as the train thundered overhead, so close it left grease on Wesley's knit cap. 5 cars passed before the train screeched to a halt. Both men were unharmed. Reporters called him the subway hero. Wesley just said, "I did what I felt was right." No political statement, no lifelong plan to be a hero, just a split-second choice to value another person's life as much as his own, in front of his daughters, who got to see their father become the kind of man they could always look up to. Whether it's thousands tearing down a wall or one man lying between train tracks to save a stranger, the scale of the act doesn't define its impact, because good, just like evil, ripples outward. The fall of the Berlin Wall inspired millions around the world to imagine their own walls coming down. Wesley Autry's moment on the subway inspired people across the country to ask themselves, would I have done the same? This is the truth at the heart of the amplification effect. Every choice carries further than we think. A movement can start in a crowd of thousands, or in a single heart that says, "Not on my watch." And in a world moving as fast as ours, those ripples don't just spread, they accelerate. What we choose to feed, to fuel, to amplify doesn't just echo in the moment. It shapes the world we all have to live in next. When we pull back far enough, our streets, our arguments, our headlines, they all shrink into something almost invisible. From far away, it's just one planet, suspended in the dark, turning slowly under a blanket of stars. But zoom back in, and you see it. Billions of individual lives, each carrying a spark that can warm or burn, build or destroy. Every choice we make sends that spark outward, adding weight to the scales between good and evil. And here's the part that gives me pause. This life might not be the end. We don't know beyond some of us having absolute faith that there may be a heaven or an afterlife or another life or something beyond our language. But we do know this: energy never dies. Physics tells us it only changes form, which means the energy you put into this world, your compassion, your courage, your cruelty, your indifference, doesn't end when you do. It simply transforms, travels. It threads itself into what comes next. Good and evil aren't fixed points on opposite ends of history's timeline. They're dance partners, locked in an endless spiral, sometimes graceful, sometimes violent. And right now, their pace is accelerating. We are not passive spectators to this dance. We are part of the choreography. Every choice, every word, every silence feeds one partner or the other. The finish line hasn't been decided. And if humanity is a race between our light and our shadows, the deciding factors might be as simple and as profound as what you choose to amplify today. What kind of energy will you set loose into the universe, knowing it will outlive you? Because when the universe remembers you, it will remember the energy you left behind. Please keep this conversation alive, because the moment we stop talking about the direction we're headed is the moment we stop steering. Thanks for hearing me out, and thanks for being here in this moment. Hope to see you next time. Thank you for tuning in to Curious Minds, Infinite Answers. I'm Courtney Christine Koskin, and I hope you'll join me for next week's episode as we proceed down the path of curiosity and discovery, uncovering various topics along the way. If you have any comments or want answers to your burning curiosities, drop me a line in the comments below. Until we meet again, find the good in the world, and if you can't find it, be the good.